Hello, everyone. My name is Octavio Pontes. I am editor-in-chief of the World Stroke Academy, and we are here today to, one more time, have the Meet the Trialist podcast for the World Stroke Academy, and it's a great pleasure today to have with me my dear friend Gisele Sampaio. Gisele is a professor of neurology at the Federal University of São Paulo, and also clinical trialist from the Albert Einstein Hospital in Brazil. And Gisele is also the Brazilian leader for the Oceanic Stroke trial in Brazil, a trial that's a phase 3 trial that is testing factor 11A inhibitor for stroke prevention. Gisele, welcome to
Thank
today.
you so much, Octavio. It's a great pleasure to be here and to be with you here.
All right, of course. Gisele, could you please tell us a little bit about the experience of conducting oceanic trial in Brazil? And I know that you also have performed a trial, a sub-study to address the difficulties about recruiting patients. And could you comment for us what are the challenging of having a phase 3 trial about stroke prevention in Brazil?
Yes, Octavio. So as you know, Oceanic is a very important trial. We've been discussing this new pathway for factor 11 inhibition, and it's very important for our country to participate in the trial, so to make sure that you have our patients represented there. So a secondary prevention trial is always difficult because you have to enroll the patients in the acute phase, and moreover, you have to follow them. But the Brazilian centers were very keen on following up the patients, on including the patients, and we did very well, so still finishing follow-up, and I think it's a great avenue for a future treatment of the patients with ischemic stroke, and we hope that as a country you can contribute, with our patients and with our science. And you talked a little bit about the FIT trial. So the FIT trial was a sub-study into the oceanic stroke that actually was designed by our committee. We have a committee to evaluate disparities in including patients in clinical trials. So this was a very interesting part of the participation in Oceanic for me, because what we did as a group was we designed a questionnaire to try to understand reasons for not being included in the trial. So we were able to include 9 countries into the sub-study, and what we asked was simple questions. So for those who consented and for those who didn't consent, which were the reasons, for not consenting for those who didn't consent. So some patients did relate, no consenting to difficulties in transportation, so to being worried about being in experimental trial. And I think that it's important for us to understand this so that we have more representations of minorities in clinical trials overall.
Of course, yeah, very insightful, Gisele. Let's discuss a little bit now, Gisele. What are in your opinion, the unmet needs in terms of stroke prevention that could be eventually fulfilled if you have positive trials with factor 11A inhibitors? And I know that, of course, in Brazil we have a lot of non-cardiovascular strokes as well, and also patients that have embolic stroke of undetermined source. Could you comment on, in your view, what would be unmet needs that could be fulfilled by this new target?
Yeah, we know that unfortunately the rates of recurrent stroke are still much higher than we wanted to, and antithrombotic therapy is one of the main important things that we do to try to prevent recurrence. Not only, that we also have to control blood pressure, to control cholesterol, but of course, if you could go better with antithrombotics, it would be great. And I think that for non-cardioembolic stroke, so all the trials that evaluated ESUS were really not very, helpful to us stroke neurologists. Right. We were really hoping to have a new treatment for patients with ESUS, maybe direct anticoagulants, and as you know, the trials were either neutral or negative. And so we end up, having our patients receiving either aspirin or clopidogrel. And now I guess that this factor 11 inhibition comes as an option, especially due to its safety. Right. So one of the problems of giving antithrombotics in a long-term basis is actually bleeding rates. Our patients are fragile. They have small vessel disease. So if you can have an agent that can be added upon the other antithrombotics, it will be great because it will definitely help us to prevent more strokes and safely prevent more strokes. I think that's the key message for factor 11 inhibition.
All right. Well, Gisele, thank you so much for your great, insightful comments, and I think that's very helpful for us to understand this new potential strategy for stroke prevention, and hopefully that we're going to have positive results soon to really fulfill this unmet need. Thank you so much for being with us today, Gisele.
We are very welcome, and I also hope that you have, good results with good Brazilian representation in the trial.
Exactly. Thanks so much.